So here we go. So I know Anita had this as a backdrop to Saqqara, all this the step pyramid. And actually, I took this photo in September, but I just loved it with these cobras lining up here and kind of looking out on Saqqara. And this is one of the activation sites we'll be going to, because they have these you can stand underneath it and get like charged up and activated your whole chakra system. So that's quite powerful. But just about the festival of Renenutet, last month of winter spring, which is kind of like where we are at now, is Peret. And it's all about honoring the crops that's being planted. So really thinking about that in your life, what are you planting? What seeds are you planting right now and that you feeding? What dreams are you feeding? And then the first month of spring, summer, that's what it also represents. So it kind of is celebrated twice, the festival of Renenutet. That's also called Shemu, and I'm calling my online self-paced program through the sacred site a Shemu journey, because it's a harvesting these aspects of ourselves and our growth and how are the lessons we've learned. So this is honoring and the ripening, the growth, and we're going to talk a lot about the growth aspect tonight. And then it's also signifying the coming of inundation. That's also around this time period. So offerings, the Egyptians were really big on making offerings, and you'll see it in hieroglyphs all around. So typically you'll be honoring the Neteru, which is the Egyptian pantheon, the gods and goddesses, with lettuce, onions, salted fish, and the crops you have. And Shamu, which is another way of saying Shemu, means renewed life. And during the Coptic era, it became known as the Spring Festival of Sham al-Nassim, which actually is directly translated to smelling the breezes. And it's a modern version of this 4,500-year-old tradition. Then they also offer Malana, which is green chickpea shoots, and that signifies resurgence of life. And traditionally, they would also be coloring eggs, which later were adopted into the celebration of Easter. So there, just again, I'm going to talk about Renenutet, Isermithis. I mean, a lot of these goddesses and gods have different names and can be pronounced in different ways, but she's the goddess of nourishment, harvest, and protection, the lady of fertile fields. And then this is the piece I want to talk about, how we can apply it to our own lives. Right now is like what's getting under your skin, or getting under your own skin, like taking a look at these skins we wear and the restrictive outlooks we may have. So the most restrictive skin we live in is how we perceive ourselves. So we can start looking at our skin of fear and stuckness, our skin of passion and a way of being. So this is all about what drives us, what gives us passion, what excites us. We can apply this also when we start looking into a pilgrimage. The work is already underway when you even think like, oh, I want to do this, or I think I'm being called to do this. This is like that passion and that call for service, or whatever that relates to in your life as your higher purpose is coming into play. So then also your skin of self-expression, how do you express yourself in this world, and are you restrictive in your self-expression? And then your skin of service that I relate to. So I'm just like putting these themes out there for you, that when we do the guided meditation, you're able to feel into these aspects for yourself. And then just a reminder that shedding is a gradual process. The snake represents the shape-shifting cycle. So I know a lot of those that have done a lot of shamanic work, we talk a lot about shape-shifting and this whole life, death, rebirth aspect. And, Easter is all about that, rebirth and resurrection. So snake is also an ancient symbol of change and transformation and the enigmatic power of life to ward off deaths. In order to grow, it must shed its skin. This is painful, dangerous, and necessary for the skin. And during this process, it feels very uncomfortable in its own skin. And it's literally outgrowing, the inside is outgrowing the outside. And it scratches and rubs and changes color if needed to remove this outer restrictive layer. And if it is not able to remove it, it can actually die. And a lot of times snakes go blind in this process too. So it's a challenging process, and we all know that from moving through a growth period, spiritual growth period. So now just talk about this time of year is all about being activated and start moving more, and all this energy that's stirring under the ground, that's starting to bud and blossom. So as spring returns, we are activated by Sekhem, which is that life force energy, the Kundalini energy, and the return of Ra. Ra is the sun god, because now it's like the first warmer months, and we feel the sun more. And then also the snake energy can be used for healing as per the caduceus and the awakening of the Kundalini, life force energy, and just to revive us after this winter period. So she's also known as the Lady of Justification in the underworld, as per the ancient funerary texts, the Litany of Re. Associated also with Mahat, so she has the feather of truth, just like Mahat on her head, truth and justice. And in the funerary text, she would actually appear in the form of a mummy with a cobra head, just so you can recognize these gods and goddesses, because they always show up in different ways, animal form or human form with an animal head. So just about the naming, naming is very important in ancient Egypt times. She also had a revered name. She was a revered goddess. She had her own cult as well. And this, like Renenutet, the Renen, so they pronounced these syllables is to bring up nurture, and the Renenutet is fortune and riches. So she would actually in the old times name all the children, give them a secret name. She's also the mother of Nepri, a personification of corn associated with Osiris. And in a lot of cultures and tradition, corn is seen as this life-giving form. I actually named my daughter after Zia Mace, which is the Latin name of corn silk, and it means life-giving. So Renenutet was also seen as the wife of Geb, the earth god. And in other traditions, she was proclaimed that she was married to Sobek or Sai, the god of destiny. So she also offered in the afterlife protection. She was known as the Lady of the Robes. So she was the guide. I think I made a spelling mistake there. Guardian of the Pharaoh's clothing. Fiercely powerful to frighten off enemies. So here I want to invite you to think about exploring our energetic garments of protection. So what we wear is also an indication of where we're at in our lives. Like there's, people wear different things for, to sickness, also very symbolic. So how we adorn ourselves and wear clothes from a sense of sacredness and purpose, and protecting our energetic skin, so to speak, as well from invasion. There's so much energy that can come our ways. And she's also known as the goddess of plenty. Snakes were abundant by the crops to protect and ward off threatening rodents. So allow the Lady of Granaries, so this is what she was also known as, to bestow good fortune to your harvesting season. So you can welcome this energy in just to be a blessing onto your crops. Then she was also known as the goddess of suckling and motherhood, nursing the Egyptian people and the Pharaoh, merged with Isis as Isermithis and Thermanthus, linked with Meshkenet, the goddess of labor. So not only did she provide this secret name to babies, but she also protected them from curses and the power to control your own fate. Oh, and this is I love this place here at Sahel Island, where we climbed up to the stele of famine. So there also it is captured that Renenutet is in all things. So she's linked with the gods of the Nile, inundation, so that drought may never come again, as it did for 7 terrible long years during the 3rd dynasty of King Jossa. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. So now, before I go into the guided meditation, I just wanted to have these few things that you would think about, you know, what you just saw and what this Netaru archetype relates to, but the opening of ourselves to a metamorphosis, to this transformation, to a change, and to receive the blessings of a change, being comfortable with the uncomfortable, surrendering to the mystery of the unknown, and also to think of rites of passages that we've been through, because that's a form of shedding skin too. We keep changing. As women, if we've bared children, our skin had to expand to hold a baby, and our hormones change, and our bodies is constantly adapting. And how are we wearing these colors with honor and reverence, and, you know, are we giving thanks for these experiences? So I'm just going to stop the screen here so I can see you again. And then I'll share back again, because I'm not used to not seeing you. I'm trying this presentation for the first time, and I'm like, where's the people? So, hi Carol, it's good to see you. You got on. Okay, well, I'm gonna lead us now into a guided meditation, just so that you can, you know, just soak in all these aspects before we go and talk about the tour and answering questions and so on. So, just close your eyes. And just take a new breath of this new season of change. You could smell the breeze, what shamu means. And that fresh scent of spring is invigorating your whole body. And as you feel rays touching your skin, you feel alive. Feel energized. Feel like anything is possible. Now you find yourself walking amongst your crops, seeds you've sown, and you're holding each one of those in your heart. each representing a dream, a hope, a desire of what you're being called into being. What you are manifesting in your life right now. Now as you look at these seeds and the crops, you're also bringing awareness to your body and your skin, and how you feel in your own skin. Does it feel tight in certain places? Does it feel restrictive? Is it changing color? Was it painful in certain areas? Where have you outgrown yourself, outgrown your skin? Where's the areas in need of a metamorphosis and change? Where one has to push through the uncomfortableness. Just be with it and just surrender. And maybe you see some snakes in the crops around you, and you're thanking them for serving as protectors of the crops. And also being on the lookout for you and what's in your environment energetically. Now you can take your attention to your energetic body, your energetic skin, and look at the garment you're putting on there, the robe. Just like the Pharo would put on, adorn himself with certain clothing that was very significant. You can view this from what you physically are wearing, but then also what you're putting on energetically. So for women, it's about 2 feet off the body, this energetic X-shape field. So just feel into that. How's that skin feeling? Is it feeling intact? Skin is a container. It's a container for energy, our emotions. It's the largest organ in the body. From a naturopathic perspective, we look at the skin to tell us a lot of what's going on internally. So maybe you can take a deeper look at what's restricting you in your own perceptions of yourself. How do you perceive yourself and others around you? What's holding you back? What's the fear that's coming up for you at this time? There's so much collectively going on. What is collective and what is that deep-seated individual personal fear? Can we distinguish? Is there a way that this protection layer, the skin and the energetic skin, can protect us from collective energy that we might sometimes take on? Maybe that's something that needs to be shed. can just like go back in time and think of all the rites of passages you've endured. Your body has endured physically, emotionally, spiritually, and there's this lifetime, and then if you were to believe in previous lifetimes, there's other lifetimes too. But just, it's good to kind of like think of how much metamorphosis you've already endured. How many times you actually have shed your skin. So maybe just be with that and honor what our bodies have gone through. I know for me, the motherhood and bearing children was such a wow, how magnificent our bodies are, just in what we can do and how we can recover. Just sends it some love just for how much it's changed and the scars it's carrying, because each scar tells a story. Whether it's a burn mark or we fell somewhere growing up, but there's always a story behind it. And it encompasses all of the human experience. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the peaceful, all of it. Send yourself some love and your skin some love. Feel the breeze, the spring breeze touching your skin. I love to commune with the wind element when I'm outside. And I can just feel this light breeze on my skin. Feel the sun rays again. And feel into the condition and the texture of your skin. I know a lot of us are in heated homes, so it might be on the drier side. And just honor it where it's at right now. Or we might be sweating with hormones or whatever wherever we are at. Just honor that, and it's a beautiful process of homeostasis and neutralizing itself. When we get goosebumps, I love getting goosebumps. Those chills that you get when your spirit is confirming something for you. Just feel into all the aspects, the sensory aspects of our skin. We actually get so much feedback through our skin that we're not even aware about. Because we don't pay attention, it becomes just second nature. Something else we have to take care of. But it's beautiful. And it's so necessary. And we need to grow with it. So I welcome you to grow with it. And keep honoring this springtime of renewal. Now you can just slowly start coming back to all your senses, your breath, and just feel into this space and the beautiful sisters around you forming this circle, and just how you supported the Netaru, the angelic realm, any guides or spirit animal totems you may connect with. Just feel all this beautiful Christ consciousness energy around you, and how you're being held as a sacred container in your skin. Just feel into that. Maybe you have felt a little expansion during the meditation. I know my skin is vibrating. Just take a nice deep breath into the skin. And seeing that she's also known as a mother goddess, I'm just going to do a couple of mahs to bring us back together here in this space. And you can ma together as well. Feels good. I'll take a few sips of water and just come back to this instruments. I hope it transported you somewhere at least, and that you received something out of the meditation and just the teaching so far. So before I go over just talking about the pilgrimage in December, I just wanted to know from you, like, unmute yourself and say, like, you know, if you know anything came to you just in that visualization, or just in general with these themes, or any afterthoughts you may have.